In November 1989, the Berlin Wall, the symbol of a world divided for decades between East and West, was brought down by the people. This led to the sudden and unimaginable end of the Cold War. It was Mikhail Gorbatchev, then president of the Soviet Union, who played a decisive role in this historical turning point for the world. Meanwhile, SGI President Daisaku Ikeda had been meeting with key leaders from East and West as a private citizen, engaging in dialogue as a path to peace. This led to the historic encounter between the two. Gorbachev was appointed General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union in 1985. He was only 54.
本当に新鮮な感じでしたね。何かっていうと、直接みんなと話をする。それまでのソビエト社会ではそれが全くできなかったことでしたよね。もうみんながゴルバチョフが目を見て皆さんと話すということが新鮮で、国民の気持ちがですね、うわーっと湧き上がった。
By lifting the oppressive Iron Curtain, Gorbachev sought a transition to democracy. He called for far-reaching political and economic reforms under the slogan of perestroika. The Gorby smile captivated the world. With a strong determination to build a world free of nuclear weapons and choose dialogue over violence, his new thinking diplomacy brought concrete results. At the Malta summit held in December 1989, Gorbachev and US President George H.W. Bush declared an end to the Cold War.
Realize a lasting peace and transform the East-West relationship.
The division between East and West was officially over. Gorbachev brought a new era to a world overshadowed by the threat of nuclear weapons. Gorbachev's reforms were widely acclaimed as decisions that changed the world, but they were not easily accepted at first. When he called for disarmament and the abolition of nuclear weapons immediately after his inauguration, the West did not take Gorbachev seriously, saying this was just propaganda for the sake of popularity. Ikeda was one of the first to take notice of these forward-looking proposals. He published an article in the Soviet media expressing full support of Gorbachev's nuclear disarmament initiatives. The article was translated into major languages, including English, German, and French, and was widely circulated. It also drew the attention of the Soviet leadership. The first meeting between Soviet President Gorbachev and Daisaku Ikeda took place on July 27, 1990, at the Kremlin in Moscow. And Gorbachev responded,
I also like straightforward dialogue. I have a deep interest in the philosophical aspect of your activities. The new thinking that is part of perestroika is like a branch stemming from the trunk of the philosophy that you espouse.
Он мне сразу понравился. И впечатление первое, не обманули меня. Он сразу как бы задал такой характер ее, этой беседы, что как будто мы с ним уже действительно 100 лет знаем друг друга.
The meeting lasted over an hour. When President Gorbachev's impending visit to Japan, the top diplomatic priority for Japan at the time, was mentioned, Ikeda said,
I am truly looking forward to your visit. My long-cherished desire as a philosopher who treasures world peace is for you to visit Japan.
To which Gorbachev responded with a smile,
I will definitely visit Japan, hopefully in the spring.
This made headlines throughout Japan. Soviet president announces intention to visit Japan next spring. There is a written account attesting to the significance of their meeting. President Gorbachev had met with a delegation of Japanese legislators 2 days before. They had insisted on pursuing discussions of a sensitive territorial issue, hindering any progress on planning for a visit. Former Japanese ambassador to the Soviet Union, Sumio Edamura, recalls, the tense situation finally started to show signs of improvement when we learned that President Gorbachev clearly stated to Honorary President Ikeda that his visit to Japan would take place around the cherry blossom season. Honestly speaking, I was relieved. In the following year, 1991, true to his word, Gorbachev made an official visit to Japan in the cherry blossom season and met with Ikeda again. It was Ikeda's citizen diplomacy that had helped smooth the path of Japanese diplomacy. In the same year, Gorbachev stepped down as president with the dissolution of the Soviet Union. He remained active despite his resignation, and Ikeda continued his interactions with him in the same spirit of friendship. Their discussions, held 10 times in total, bore witness to the cataclysmic history of the 20th century, passing on its lessons to the future. Their dialogue culminated in the publication of Moral Lessons of the 20th Century.
А сейчас приоритеты за общечеловеческими интересами. Им надо отдавать приоритет. Тот, кто пытается, вот открылось, так сказать, в международных конфликты, вводили силы только при случае, когда надо остановить, развести стороны. А все должно решаться на уровне дипломатии, политики, на уровне диалога, постоянного диалога. Все можно решить. Это вранье, что нельзя.
The lesson shared by these two individuals who relentlessly pursued the challenge of building a humanistic era during turbulent times will continue to illuminate a path to a brighter future.